realistic for you, not having been off for so long?
I don't know. I mean, try not to think too much about expectations or what I've done in the past or how long I've been off. Just go out and play the game and try to get better every shift and every time I touch the puck, and hopefully good things will come.
How much is communication going to be key just when you're adapting, I mean, to a new center anyway in Joe?
Yeah, it will be. I mean, I think with Joe and Alex, I mean, they're both having really strong starts to the year, so I don't think we want them to change too much. You know, as far as myself, I always felt like I could play with a bunch of different players and just kind of adapt to who I'm playing with. So, yeah, for those guys, just play their game, not worry about you know, getting me the puck or anything like that. Just play the game they know how to out there.
How nice is it just coming into a team that's been on a roll and scoring a lot of goals, where they're not going to necessarily be relying on you to be the go-to guy?
Yeah, I mean, for sure. I think that's definitely important for you know, for me coming in, and you know, you could see watching games even before I signed with the team, like, they're a good team. They're well coached. They have a lot of offense in here, a lot of depth. Yeah, it's nice not to have that pressure right away. I'm sure as time goes on, you'll want that pressure on you and want to have those expectations of producing every night. But for coming in right now, it's definitely nice.
How soon did you start watching Wings games more intently, thinking that you'd be a part of the lineup? I mean, was it before you signed even? Or?
Yeah. I mean, it was probably at the beginning of the year, to be honest with you. Watched a lot of their games, watched, you know, a lot of maybe a handful of other teams, watched a lot of their games as well. So just tried to stay up on it, see kind of what was going on around the league, and see where I would fit in with different teams. But yeah, I watched these guys for a while.
You've had a lot of different line mates through your time in Chicago and everything, but how nice to have that familiarity with DeBrincat.
Yeah, for sure. You know, probably, I don't want to say the biggest reason I came here, but it's definitely a big reason. He's a great person, and not only that, he's a great player. He's competitive. He wants to do well. You know, I think we had a good relationship on and off the ice, even like in between shifts and games where we could talk to each other and not be afraid to hurt each other's feelings with what we said to each other. But yeah, it'll be fun to play with him again. And you know, if the chemistry's not there right away, I mean, I'm sure it's something we'll build up over time. So, but yeah, it'll be fun to play with him.
What feels most different about kind of pivoting from like rehab to directly ramping up for actual game action?
Yeah, I mean, you know, you try to do the best you can in rehab. I mean, for a while I was skating by myself, and then you're doing 1-on-1, and then 3-on-3, 5-on-5, so you kind of build yourself up. So, you know, unfortunately we haven't had a lot of practice time with the way the schedule is, so it's been a lot of, like, you know, morning skates. I think we had a couple practices, you know, some time out there by myself as well. But I think the speed of the game is probably going to be the biggest thing. I mean, it's the best game in the world and best league in the world. And, you know, sometimes it takes a little while to get adjusted. So, you know, for now, I'm not going to put too much pressure on myself and try to do the best I can right away. But I think, you know, over time we'll get to that level.
Hey, when you were 14 and going to games with Joe, with Pat Reed, did you ever think about what it would be like to wear this jersey?
I don't know. That was a long time ago, so I don't really remember my thoughts back then. But I just remember it was good memories. You know, Pat would fill in and do the color when Mickey wasn't doing it. So you know, we got to go to some games, and even just watching them on TV and some of the players they had back then with, you know, Datsuk and Zetterberg and Lindstrom and guys like that. It was a really fun team to watch. So yeah, I enjoyed watching them. I mean, even in Chicago, like, it was a team we were always striving to beat, always striving to overcome in our time there, especially as we were building up our you know, team there. And even though we won in 2010, there's still like something in the back of my mind that we needed to beat the Wings to be like a true championship team. So those teams are special.
Do you think there'll be a few butterflies tonight? I mean, you've been through everything in your career, but do you think you might be a little anxious?
Yeah, of course. You I remember last year when I went to New York, the first game there. It's a change of scenery. It's an energetic crowd. I mean, people are there to see you perform too, right? So you want to give the fans good vibes and also, show out for your teammates as well. These guys have been playing great. They've been on a good run as of late, so want to play well for them.
You haven't had a few practices with Patrick. How do you anticipate the game will go playing with him for the first time?
Yeah, I'm pretty excited. Obviously, with someone that I watched a lot growing up, just with video games, and obviously being one of the superstars in the NHL for a long time. So, pretty happy I get that opportunity with two really elite players, and just really excited overall to be on the same ice as him and watch him in practice. But to be on the same line, it's going to be really exciting for me.
He's such a smart player. How do you anticipate reading off him, and how much will communication between shifts maybe help with that?
Yeah, no, I think getting to know how he plays, watching him over the years. I know he's obviously a pass-first guy, and he's got incredible hockey sense. And obviously with DeBrincat being a really good goal scorer, I think just trying to find some open ice, use my speed for them, kind of push the pace, and just trying to find an open spot on the ice, and hopefully the puck will get to me.
What do you expect to see from Kane tonight?
Hopefully he just plays with some confidence, plays who he is. I had a little chat with him yesterday. He's anxious, which you can just imagine. Just the plan, kind of a target minute-wise. Probably won't use him every shift. With JT out, he'll get a look in that top unit. So just go play. Hopefully his instincts will take over.
Thought with Joe that he can be kind of a puck transporter, forechecker for.
100%. You see, he's driven that Larkin line, just the legs, all that offense. Larkin, Raymond have been creating of late. Joe's been a big part of it, and just a simple part of it. Off the forecheck, keeping plays alive. Probably want to give those two guys some legs too.
How much will it help having Alex? I mean, he knows kind of how to read off Patrick. He's such a high IQ guy.
Yeah, there's a comfort there. Obviously, they do have a little chemistry, and again, it's no different than Alex coming into us early on. We want to put him in a position to have some success. It's the same with Patrick tonight, playing with Alex.
Coach, for those of us who are just joining you, can you clarify the status of JT Comfer and the decision to put Kane on that line?
Yeah, JT is out tonight in the day-to-day. I referenced yesterday, obviously, Patty coming in, everyone's talking about who's out, and he was one of the guys I talked about playing a lot of games right now, and we have some bodies that are nicked up, so he's out. But expect it not to be too long, hopefully in that day-to-day range.
So we can call it maintenance, or what are you calling it officially?
Let's call it maintenance.
All right.
And the nicked up's not part of the...
Nicked up is great. It sounds awesome on
TV.
TV. No, I love nicked up. And the decision to put him with Veleno as well?
Legs.
Okay.
They've actually had a practice the other day. The unfortunate thing about our schedule of legs, we've had very low practice time. I think it worked pretty good the other day. We'll see how it looks.
Thank you.
Do you have to coach great players differently? You're in Tampa with great players, and do you have to coach them differently?
100%. I think there's a reality to it. Again, just having guys given the opportunity to succeed. And I think, the experiences I had in Tampa, and I think it's, in that recruiting call we had with Patrick, we referenced Braden Point, Nikita Kucherov, Stamkos. Obviously, you're going to give those guys a little rope to succeed, but also, hold them accountable on the team game also. But yeah, of course, absolutely.
So with great players, obviously they've got those natural gifts. But is there something else that drives them that you can input?
Competitively, you do not become great in this league. And again, some of my experiences, I was fortunate enough. Everyone sees Nikita Kucherov, the special player, but the competitor you get to see day in and day out. Steven Stamkos, even Great Point. And I think Patrick has obviously some of that too, or he wouldn't be here. in a lot of ways, in reality, probably betting on himself here. So, again, it'll be our job as a staff to give him opportunity to succeed.
Derek, how much of a cushion does it give that he's coming in at a time you guys have been winning 6 or 7? Like, it's not that desperate.
Yeah,
like
maybe it might take some pressure off, but I don't, I think given what we referenced there, those guys, I think the pressure they put on themselves. You saw Monday's practice, Patrick looked pretty good, and the first thing he told me, I had an awful practice. And, guys have certain standards for themselves, so again, I don't know how much that has to do with the fact that we're winning right now.
Derek, what have you noticed about San Jose and Video?
They're scoring a lot of goals. They may be the most tenacious forecheck team I've seen in scouting. A team like that, and they have a looseness about them in a positive way. Go, 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 go. They're come dangerous. Obviously, they're scoring a ton of goals of late. This road trip, they scored a ton of goals. So again, I still think it's about us. When we're at our best, we give ourselves a chance.
Hey Derek, entering last season, you guys were on pace for 100 points at the exact same pace that you're on entering December this season. What gives you belief, faith that moving forward, this team can be a little bit different than last
Different depth. Obviously, no one had us in this position at this point. Of course, we're probably overachieving as a group, but we were last year at this time too. But it was just different. We didn't have the same depth. If you guys recall, this time Billy was playing at an extremely high level. He's probably in that 920, 925 range. But it's a different depth that we have throughout our decor, different depth we have throughout front, and fortunately we're sitting here with the depth in net too. We've used all three, it's been successful, so I just think it's the depth.
One addition to your team is Shane Gostisbehere.
Sorry about that.
I didn't mean to interrupt you, sir.
Yep.
Shane Gostisbehere, just his addition to the depth for the power play especially, just what difference has that made?
A ton. With Shane, again, we thought we were getting, we're getting what we thought on the power play side of things, but I give Shane a ton of credit. He's given us way more in his 5-on-5. He defends way better than I would have probably anticipated. Very, very competitive athlete. He's adding the depth we talked about.
Okay. On top of the depth, though, is there some maturing happening?
Yeah, I think
how do you sense that as a coach?
I think the confidence. Last year, again, we had a good start. Obviously, we didn't have much of a chance those last 20, 25 games. We had missed, just had a different team after the deadline, which is understandable. But we went into a lot of games last year thinking we can win. I think it's a different confidence of that. That we do feel we have a chance every night. At the same time, as we have found out, we can't be just okay and still win. We got to be on all the time. Just we're not built. We reference my Tampa teams. There's a lot of nights we did not play very well, and Vassy would win the game for us, or Cooch would make a play for us. We're not like that. So I just think we have to be on all the time.
On the subject of that defensive depth, what have you seen working well from the Sherrod Petrie pairing play?
They're assertive with the game right now. When they're good, you can see they're taking away time and space. They're gapped. When they're not great, they'll have a little sag. You'll see some teams get entries on them. That's not the case right now. They're playing aggressive. They're playing physical. They're playing simple and predictable with the puck. And they've been excellent for us, and their underlying numbers show that too.
Derek, you mentioned that Patrick will be playing every shift. We saw him on the power play unit today at morning skate. What's the plan tonight for communication with him in terms of how he's feeling and then moving forward with his health? Probably
what we talked about yesterday too. How we're going to approach this. Maybe he feels great, and we had a minute mark that we'll shoot for. I think just to put him at ease. But if he's rolling, maybe he does get in that 16, 17, 18-minute range. We'll have a feel, and the games take a life of themselves with what special teams could look like. So, we'll communicate throughout. I think he's obviously experienced, mature enough to be able to communicate that too.
And are you comfortable sharing the minute mark?
Nope.
Okay. Had to ask. Good.
All right, thanks, guys.
Thank you.